Well, everybody, I have a big surprise for all Leapfrog fans of the Electronic Toy Archive. And in this stream, we are going to talk about a fan-made Leapfrog TV series on PBS Kids, featuring characters like Leap, Lily, Tad, Edison, Dan the dog, Della Duck, Casey Cat, Tim, and a whole bunch of other Leapfrog characters as well. And the series is called The Adventures of Leap and Friends, which I would imagine it airing from September 6th of 1999 to June 3rd of 2005. With 6 seasons. And yeah. So, basically, I'm looking at the seasons list real quick to look at what year those seasons would air from. Alright, so hold on a second, folks. I'm still looking for the month. That those episodes, those seasons would air from. Alright, here we go. Now, for season 1 of The Adventures of Leap and Friends, it would premiere from September 6th of 1999 to June 2nd, 2000. Season 2 would begin from September 4th, 2000 to June 1st, 2001. Season 3 would be from October 1st, 2001 to May 31st, 2002. Season 4 would be from August 26, 2002 to February 25th, 2003. Season 5 would be from September 1st, 2003 to March 26th of 2004. And Season 6 would be from October 11th, 2004 to June 3rd, 2005. I would imagine I would have the fan-made Leapfrog series be made by Porchlight Entertainment and Sesame Workshop, which would be called Children's Television Workshop in Season 1. In fact, one of the episodes I came up with for Season 1 would be called Lil's Loose Tooth. And that would be based off of a page in the Leap in the Learning book. Each episode of the series would be 30 minutes long. As for the cast members, Seasons 1 and 2 would have Zachary Schumann, who was the original voice of Leap in the Leap Pad and My First Leap Pad books, and Leapfrog Products, voiced Leap in the first 2 seasons. Then Candy Milo, who would voice Leap beginning in Season 3, and she would also voice Leap in the My First Leap Pad books, I Know My ABCs, Once Upon a Rhyme, Tad Silly Member Farm, and Tad Silly Writing Fair. So she would voice Leap in Season 3 and Season 5 as well. In Season 4, Pamela Adlon, who would voice Bobby Hill in King of the Hill, would voice Leap in Season 4. And then in the last season, which is Season 6, Cindy Robinson would voice Leap. And as for who would voice Lily, I'd have Kelsey Lally voice her in the first 2 seasons. And then Mary Danielle in the rest of the seasons, from seasons 3 through 6. And as for Tad, I'd have Blake Margraff voice Tad in the first 2 seasons. Then Nicole Rapp from seasons 3 to 4. And then Debbie Derryberry in seasons 5 through 6. And Lily's mom, the Frog family, would be voiced by the original actors from the My First Leap Pad and Leap Pad books, respectively. Christiane Crawford would voice Mrs. Frog, and Michael Mandelson would play Mr. Frog. And Bob Aries would voice Grandpa Frog in the books and the series. So, for season 1, I thought of an episode called Will's Loose Tooth, based off of the book. And as for who would be the narrator, I'd have Jim Margraf be the narrator for season 1, Christian Crawford from seasons 2 to 3, Julie Stevens from seasons 4 to 5, and Mark Atherley in season 6. And as for the Leapfrog logos in those seasons, seasons 1 and 2 would have the Leapfrog logo from 1998, which has the frog without the circle. And in seasons 3 to 5, from 2001 to 2004, would have the same Leapfrog logo with the frog, but this time with the circle added on there. And then for season 6, it would have the Leapfrog logo from late 2004 with just the words Leapfrog in the circle with the uppercase letters, not to be confused with the lowercase letters version from 2008. And as for the Sesame Workshop logos, season 1, because it would air from 1999 to 2000, season 1 would have the 1997 Children's Television Workshop logo, which is the semicircle one with the word "Play It Smart" at the bottom, which, believe it or not, the sound effects used at the end of the 1997 logo sound very similar to that of a frog jumping. Hence, it's a Leapfrog series made by CTW. And yeah, season 1 of The Adventures of Leap and Friends, just like season 1 of Dragon Tales, would also use the CTW semicircle logo on here. And then for season 2, it would have the still prototype version of the Sesame Workshop green roof and blue house logo with the breathy synth chime tune that is also heard on some Sesame Street VHS releases like Let's Make Music and volumes 3 and 4 of Elmo's World, which are Singing, Drawing, and More, and Flowers, Bananas, and More, respectively. And then for seasons 3 to 6, it would have the fully animated Sesame Workshop logo, but seasons 3 and 4 would have the greenhouse and purple roof version. But season 3 would have the green roof, the purple roof greenhouse version, and seasons 4 through 6 would have the red house blue roof version. And Now, for the funding and stuff, I would have Chuck E. Cheese's and Kellogg's fruit and Kellogg's Frosted Flakes sponsor the show for the first two seasons, and then for season 3, I'd have the same sponsors and everything, but with Chuck E. Cheese's Fruit Loops and Frosted Flakes on there. And so now there would be 3 sponsors beginning with season 3 instead of just 2. And then for season 4, and then for season 4 and 5, the sponsors would be the same thing. And then for season 6, it would be Chuck E. Cheese's Road 60-second cinnamon rolls and Kellogg's Fruit Loops, of course. And as for the PBS Kids idents, obviously for season 1 from 1999 to 2000, it's just the first 2 idents from 1999 with Dash the boy thinking about something or Dot the girl running up to the screen, depending on what the episode plot is. And then for season 2 from 2000 to 2001, it would have the same PBS Kids idents from 1999 with Dot running up to the screen and Dash thinking about something respectively, but it would also feature the transformation PBS Kids idents, including the Dash transformation one, where Dash transforms into a caveman, scuba diver, and robot, and the Dot transformation one, where Dot transforms into a tiger, octopus, and astronaut. Season 3 would have the same combination of PBS Kids IDs. Now, as for Season 4 would have the same PBS Kids idents, you know, the Dash one from 1999, Dot one from 1999, Dash transformation from 2000, and Dot transformation from 2000. But Season 4 would also add in the 2002 PBS Kids Fishbowl ident, with Dash looking at a goldfish into a fishbowl, imagining himself as an orange goldfish, and then getting swallowed by Dot. And Season 5 would also include, and Season 4 would also have the snow globe ident in addition to the fishbowl one, where Dash ice skates in an ice rink. He feels the ground shake, and then he stops ice skating. The camera zooms out to reveal that he is inside a snow globe, which Dot the girl holds, and notice that Dot has bluish-gray, powdery blue skin in that bumper, instead of the usual lime green. And then as for Season 5, it would basically have the same IDs and stuff as Season 4. And then for Season 6, it would also be the same as Seasons 4 and 5. But despite Season 5 and Season 6 premiering in 2003 and 2004, respectively, they still use the regular Snow Globe and Fishbowl IDs. And the Fishbowl and Snow Globe IDs for the Leapfrog series would have the URL, and it would cut in and out, just like on shows like Cyber Chase. Alright. So, as for the episode Lil's Loose Tooth, I'd have that episode use the 1999 Dash ID where Dash is thinking about something, because in the book, Leap tries to think of some inventions in Lil's Loose Tooth from the book Leap into Learning, and Leap is thinking about what to invent in that book. And then I'd have another episode from season 1 be called A Tad Too Much. And in that episode, Tad plays tricks on them and, cries wolf, kind of like when Cleo tricks Clifford and T-Bone into thinking they've seen Whiffy the skunk ghost. And A Tad Too Much would also be a season 1 episode, but A Tad Too Much would use the dot ident, with dot running up to the screen, and that's because in one part of the book, Tad's zipper is really stuck and they run in as fast as they can to help Tad. And another season 1 episode I came up with is called Leap's Friends from A to Z, which would of course use the Dash ID Oh, we are still going into season 3. We are still going into season 1, I should say. I came up with 3 episodes for season 1. One is called Lil's Loose Tooth, based off of the book Leap into Learning, which would use the Dash ID from 1999 with Dash thinking about something, because in the book Leap into Learning, which has Lil's Loose Tooth on it, Leap is thinking about things to invent, while Lil's tooth is still loose. And as for A Tad Too Much, which is based off of the Leap into Lessons for Life book, A Tad Too Much, A Tad Too Much would have the dot ID, because in one page of the book, Lily's zipper is stuck, and Tad's zipper is stuck, and Leap and Lily and Frog parents would run in as fast as they can to try to help Tad. Okay. I will look real quick. And Alright, Season 1 would be from September 6th, 1999 to June 2nd, 2000, which is basically from September 6th, 1999 to the entire Children's Television Workshop era from June 2nd, 2000. Because as you know, from May 29th to June 2nd of 2000, that was the last week when CTW was still being used as a full name before they changed it to Sesame Workshop on June 5th, 2000. And like I said before, Season 1 would use the Children's Television Workshop 1997 semicircle logo with the word "Play It Smart" at the bottom, just like on Season 1 of Dragon Tales, which also premiered on the same day as The Adventures of Leap and Friends. Alright, and another Season 1 episode I came up with is called Leap's Friends from A to Z, which is based off of the Leap Pad book from the same name. And Jeremy Barden, I came up with the companies for the Adventures of Leap and Friends, which was the fan-made Leapfrog series from PBS Kids I came up with. Season 1, so the series would be made by Porchlight Entertainment and Sesame Workshop, but Columbia TriStar Television would produce the show. And the series, The Adventures of Leap and Friends, which was the Leapfrog series from PBS Kids that I came up with, would be produced by Porchlight Entertainment, Sesame Workshop, which was called Children's Television Workshop in Season 1, and then Columbia TriStar Television would make the series from Seasons 1 through 4, then Warner Brothers Television would take over in the last 2 seasons, Seasons 5 and 6. And I came up with another Season 1 episode called Leap's Friends from A to Z. And that episode, Leap's Friends from A to Z, would use the PBS Kids ident with Dash the Boy thinking about something, and that's because Leap is thinking about the letters of the alphabet. Would that make sense, Jeremy Barton? For Leap's Friends from A to Z to use Dash? And I thought of another Season 1 episode of The Adventures of Leap and Friends called Alphabet Adventures, which is based off of the first book of the Leapfrog phonics series, I believe. You know, the book was originally released in 1999, I believe, and 1999 or 2000. So, Cat's Goodnight would be a season 1 episode that I thought of. And that episode would use the Dash ID as well because Leap and Lily and Dad and Grandpa are trying to think of ways for Tad to be happy while Tad's mom is away. Tad's Goodnight would also use the Dash ID. Same thing goes for Alphabet Adventures, which would also use the Dash ID. Another season 1 episode I came up with would be called A Day at Moss Lake, which is based off of the book. And they are traveling in the episode A Day at Moss Lake. So I would have that episode. If that episode aired, A Day at Moss Lake would probably use the sidewalk one, but in reality, since it didn't exist, the Dot ID would be used, obviously, with Dot running up to the screen for A Day at Moss Lake. And then for the day Leap ate olives, that would be a season 1 episode I came up with as well. And then for the day the Leap ate olives, I would have the day Leap ate olives use the Dash ID from 1999. Because in the day Leap ate olives, Leap isn't sure what he thinks of the olives and isn't sure if we didn't get one just yet, but they were thinking about going to get one eventually. So, you know, like, maybe later today they were thinking about getting one, but we didn't get one just yet, but they were thinking about getting one later today. In the announcement video I made, I said that I might be busier this Saturday. Than the other Saturdays because of the new pet in the house, so well, It's actually going to be a dog named Chugs. That's what my parents' name. That's what the dog's name is called. Which is the pet that we're possibly getting. I haven't, you know, I haven't asked how old the dog is yet, but, oh, Taya Brown, I will mention your idea for Farmer for a Day. Taya Brown, I remember seeing you on Discord in the Electronic Toy Archive, and that, yeah, so, yeah, Farmer for a Day, I know you mentioned that. We will get to that when you go into Season 6, and we are currently on Season 1, so the Season 1 episodes I came up with based off of the books for the lead pad would be, of course, Lil's Loose Tooth, A Tad Too Much, Leap's Friends from A to Z, Alphabet Adventures, Tad's Good Night, A Day at Moss Lake, and The Day Leap Ate Olives. And another Season 1 episode I came up with would be called Fair is Fair. And Fair is Fair would be a book from Leap into Lessons for Life. And I would have the episode Fair is Fair use the 1999 PBS Kids ident with Dash the Boy thinking about something. Alright, I found Fair's Fair at fandom. Leapfrog fandom, I should say. It's a Leap Pad game including the interactive book and cartridge. It is also available in Leapfrog Schoolhouse. It is available in Lessons for Life. Narrated by Whoopi Goldberg. You want this quick when she others as you would like to be treated. So that's why I chose the 1999 Dash ID for Fair is Fair, because they have to think about how important it is to treat others nicely. So Jeremy Barton, Fair is Fair would use the Dash ID because they have to think about how important it is to treat others. And then for another Season 1 episode based off of a Leap Pad book that I came up with would be called A Surprising Teacher. And also Taya Brown, we the Season 1 episodes we came up with so far would be Lil's Loose Tooth with the 1999 Dash ID, of course. A Tad Too Much with the 1999 Dot ID. Leap's friends from A to Z with the 1999 Dash ID, Alphabet Adventures with the 1999 Dash ID, Tad's Good Night with the 1999 Dash ID, A Day at Moss Lake with either the fan-made 1998 Sidewalk ID that Jeremy Barton came up with, but in reality, A Day at Moss Lake would have the 1999 Dot ID. And then for the Day Leap with Olives, the 1999 Dash ID. And then for Fair is Fair, the 1999 Dash ID, because of the way how important it is to treat others. And for the next one I came up with, which is another book from the Lessons for Life series. The lesson surprising teacher used the 1999 Dash ID as well, because it teaches a lesson you have to think about not to judge a book by its cover. Yeah, I know. Sometimes streams glitch, and that's the way they are. But I could go over them, you know. So, Leaps. So, a surprising teacher would use the Dash ID from 1999. And I came up with another season 1 episode. Tries again. If at first you don't succeed, try again, which was also a lesson from the Dragon Tales Season 3 episode Sky Soccer. But unlike Sky Soccer, which would have the Dot ID from 1999, Leap Tries Again would use the other version with Dash. And there are some Season 1 episodes that are not based off of the books that I also came up with. One of them is called Leap's Doctor's Appointment. Which would be an episode where Leap is afraid to go to the doctor, but his parents help him to understand that doctors are there to help take care of you and feel better and help you feel better. And another episode from season 1, I came up with is called The Birthday Hunt. Which I'll send you a link to, uploaded by it was uploaded by Team Jacob Paradis. So, that's the birthday hunt. So, I am real quick. Yeah, birthday hunt will be from season 1.
All right, that's it. Now, let's begin.
So, for the birthday hunt, I would use the 1999 Dash ID where Dash is thinking about something because they're trying to hunt down for some gifts for Leap's birthday, and that's why the Dash ID will be used. Yeah, so Now for season 2, alright, now for another season 1 episode that I came up with that was not in a book would be called Leap Stands Up to Bullying, which in that book, I would imagine a frog named Zach who constantly picks on Leap, and Leap goes up to tell his parents about what happened, and his parents encourage Leap to stand up to a bully. And then Leap explains to the bully that he really hurt Leap's feelings. He would like the bully to stop picking on him, and yes, but you know who will voice Zach in the episode Leap Stands Up to a Bully? He would be voiced by none other than Jason Mikas, who is also the voice of Zach in Dragon Tales as well. So Jason Mikas would voice a character who's also named Zach in The Adventures of Leap and Friends. And that episode would use the Dash ID with the dot audio, most likely due to an audio error. And I thought of a season 1 episode that would air at the end of 1999 called Leap's Trip to the Pond, which is loosely based off of this toy called Leap's Phonics Pond. And okay. It's okay if you want to do that, so. Now, for Leap's Trip to the Pond, I would have Leap's Trip to the Pond use the 1999 dot ID because the fish and frogs jump in the water throughout the episode. Yeah. All right. Now, yeah, that would work. Now, another season 1 episode that I came up with is called Leap's Show and Tell, which would be an episode where Leap is thinking about what to bring for show and tell, but he can't think of anything until he finally has something to come up with on his own. Well, this fan-made show is based off of characters from the Leappad and My First Leappad books and the Leapfrog toys, respectively. That's what this fan-made PBS Leapfrog show would be about. So, in Leap's show and tell, Leap is trying to think about what to bring for show and tell. At first, he can't think of anything, but then he finally comes up with an idea for something to bring for show and tell. It's a scrapbook of his family that he decided to bring, and which wraps up the episode. And for Leap's show and tell, I would have that use the 1999 dash ID because Leap is thinking about what to bring for show and tell. And as for season 1, in regards to the 1999 PBS Kids IDs, unlike Dragon Tales, which Dot was more common, The Adventures of Leap and Friends would have Dash more common in season 1. Now, I have come up with a few other cast members, like, I remember you told me about John Ritter being the voice of Mr. Creek, being a teacher in the series a while back. Jeremy Barton. Alright, that was season 1. And by the way, season 1 would also be the only season to be in the Children's Television Workshop era. And up of the Dash logos here, which that combo would be more common on Leap's Show and Tell was the last season 1 episode that I came up with. I might have to write down some more, but But anyway, Jeremy Barton, you know how Warner Home Video released those Leapfrog DVDs from 2003 to 2005, and that Warner Brothers would produce the series in the last 2 seasons? Well, I imagined Columbia TriStar Television making the series from the first 4 seasons. So, that means that Columbia TriStar Home Video would have to release those DVDs from 2000 to 2001, and then Columbia TriStar Home, and then due to the Columbia TriStar Home Entertainment name, that company would release it from 2001 to most of 2003. Now, the first 3 seasons would use the 1997 Columbia TriStar Television logo, while season 4 would have, well, and earlier episodes of season 4 as well, while later season 4 episodes would use the Sony Pictures Television logo. Alright, that was season 1. Now I'm going to talk about season 2. So, yes, I did see your comment about it. Now, as that season would premiere from, now as for season 2 would premiere from September 4th, 2000 to June 1st, 2001. Well, about the rules, it said no vulgar or inappropriate language. That's what the channel rules said. Now, Jeremy Barton, as for season 2, it would air from September 4th, 2000 to June 1st, 2001. And season 2 would use the Sesame Workshop logo with the breathy synth chime tune that is also heard in this video, Jeremy Barton. It's talking about what I mean by the because I like to keep the stream as G or PG rated as possible. The minor curse words like that are fine, but the stronger ones like the F-bomb I try to avoid. Oh. A GD word would be okay. That's minor. That's Well, I'm not gonna go over the stronger ones anymore because because this is a Leapfrog stream and we're keeping the stream as G-rated as possible. So Season 2 would air from September 4th, 2000 to June 1st, 2001. And Season 2 would be the last season to have Zachary Schumann, who do the voice of Leap. One of the Season 2 episodes that I came up with is called Tad Goes Shopping, which is based off of the book of the same name from 2001. Hopefully the stream will be over in like 2 hours, so in like 1 hour from now. So once it reaches the 2-hour mark, it'll probably be done. I'd say Tad Goes Shopping from Season 2 would be one episode from Season 2 that would air in 2000 that would use a 1999 PBS Kids ID. Kind of like when the Clifford episodes... Kind of like when the Clifford episodes and Birdie Makes Free and Home is Where the Fun Is used the Dash one, I'd have Tad Goes Shopping use Dot because there's a shopping cart where people walk around with. Uh-oh. I had to block some bots because they were not being appropriate for the stream. And there was one more season 1 episode that I came up with called Counting on Leap, which would use the Dash ID from 1999 as well. Anyway, another season 2 episode that I came up with would be called The Birthday Surprise, based off of the Leap Pad book of the same name. And as for the birthday surprise would be from season 2, as the book was from 2001.
Here is.
Now, the birthday surprise would be another season 2 episode that would use a 1999 PBS Kids ID. This time, the birthday surprise would have Dash, unlike Tad Goes Shopping, which had Dot. Because Leap and the gang are trying to think about some ways to surprise their mom on their birthday. Because Leap and the gang are trying to figure out what pardon me, folks. It was just a little freeze glitch. But anyway, the birthday surprise, unlike Tad Goes Shopping, the birthday surprise would use the Dash ID because Leap and the gang are trying to figure out what to surprise their mom on their birthday. And
I am back, and this is going to be a part 3 and final part of the 2001 Leapfrog Leap Pad learning system, the birthday surprise cartridge and book. Let's see.
now, what PBS Kids ID would be different about the birthday surprise and Tad Goes Shopping from season 2? Well, it is for the same age group as Dragon Tales and Clifford the Big Red Dog. And, Now I came up with a season 2 episode of the same name that is based off of a My First Leap Pad book, which has Leap and friends go up into space. And that is called Leap to the Moon, based off of the My First Leap Pad interactive book and cartridge of the same name. Now, that episode from season 2 would premiere in March of 2001, and book would be released later in 2001 for the My First Leap Pad. And this would be a season 2 episode that would actually use the transformation PBS Kids ID. What's your idea for that? And that one, the episode Leap to the Moon, would use the, you guessed it, Dot transformation ID, where Dot transforms into a tiger, octopus, and astronaut. Because they travel on a little rocket ship and they go up into the moon, kind of like how astronauts go to. Now, yeah. Another season 2 episode that I came up with that is based off of the book would actually be based off of the demo book for the My First Leap Pad called Leap's Big Day. And that'll be based off of the demo book. This would be the season 2 finale from June 1st, 2001. The very last episode to have Zachary Schumann do the voice of Leap. And Leap's Big Day has some pretty interesting stuff in there. They travel on the bus. Leap is like sailing on a boat in one scene, going up in a balloon, hopping on a train. So, Leap's Big Day would be one of the season 2 episodes that would actually use the dash transformation ID. Yeah, and they also go on a bus ride. Yeah. Okay. Because the fishbowl one didn't even exist yet, and Leap is sailing in water. Surprisingly, even though there is an octopus in the page of the book, it uses the dash transformation ID instead of the dot transformation one, because of mostly the focus on Leap sailing in a boat in one page. And Leap was trying to catch a kite that he lost. Okay. Those were some season 2 episodes I came up with. Now we're going to move on to season 3. Well, for the sponsors for the show, Chuck E. Cheese's and Frosted Flakes for the first 2 seasons. Seasons 3 and 4 would have Chuck E. Cheese's, Frosted Flakes, and Fruit Loops. And season 5 would have and then Leaps. And then season 4 and 5, seasons 3 through 5 would have Fruit Loops, Frosted Flakes, and Chuck E. Cheese's. And then for season 6, it'll be Chuck E. Cheese's, Rose 60-second cinnamon rolls, and Fruit Loops. Now we're going to go on to season 3. And for season 3, I thought of episodes based off of books for season 3. I thought of some episodes based off of books for the My First Sleep Pad learning system. I think Robbie hosting it at the beginning. I think it's just, I kind of like every part of it. I don't necessarily have a favorite, but I do like every part. Anyway, one of the season 3 episodes that I came up with is called Once Upon a Rhyme, which was based off of the My First Sleep Pad book of the same name. It would air sometime in March of 2002. And it would be released as a book. Season 3 would air from October 1st, 2001 to May 31st, 2002. And beginning with this season, Candy Milo does the voice of Leap. She was the voice of Leap in the My First Sleep Pad books. I Know My ABCs, Once Upon a Rhyme, Tad Silly Number Farm, and Tad Silly Writing Fair, all of which would be from season 3. Even though Tad Silly Writing Fair would later be a book in 2003, it would actually air on television in 2002 as a season 3 episode. Alright, now for season 3, one of the ones that I came up with would be called Once Upon a Rhyme, based off of the My First Sleep Pad book of the same name. They sang many different nursery rhymes, and including Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, Little Jack Horner, Little Boy Blue. So they are putting up a rhyming concert. Here we go again. Some bots. That's not good. Episodes, despite the later half of season 3 airing in 2002, all of the season 3 episodes would use either the 1999 idents or the transformation idents from 2000. Kind of like when season 6 of Arthur started from September to December 2001, and it didn't make any more episodes until season 7 in October 2002. it wouldn't be until season 4 where they use the fishbowl and snow globe IDs, so. So, one of the season 3 episodes I came up with is Once Upon a Rhyme, where they do a nursery rhymes concert. Except season 3 would be from October 2001 to May of 2002. So, yeah. Every time I see a bot, I am going to block it, because what the bots are saying is not really appropriate at all. Well, I was thinking maybe the segment could end with a song. So basically, Once Upon a Rhyme, they would host a nursery rhyme concert for songs like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and they sometimes do some nursery rhyme poems as well, like Jack Be Nimble. I would have Once Upon a Rhyme use the Dash ID from 1999. This would be one of the season 3 episodes that would use the Dash ID from 1999, and that's because of the special nursery rhymes they use. Nursery rhymes could get stuck in your head sometimes. Anyway, that's Once Upon a Rhyme. I came up with another season 3 episode called Tad's Silly Number Farm, which has Tad. Yeah, I said it would end with the song. I'd probably have it end with the song, based off of the Cedarmont Kids or VeggieTales song called Happy Trails to You. Or, alright. Okay. Either that or, alright, I like your Oh Where Has My Little Dog Gone idea too, so. Okay. Another season 3 episode I came up with is called Tad's Silly Number Farm, which would be based off of the My First Leapfrog book of the same name. Basically, Tad helps out at the farm, goes to the pasture to milk a cow, and then feed milk to kittens. And then he sneaks to the pond to pet a white duck, and then his hat flies away, and it gets stuck in the muck. And then Farmer Fred comes in to save the hat, He reels it in, and it goes plop on his head. And then he falls asleep in the hay, and he gets some things from the funny food garden. And I would have Tad's Silly Number Farm be a Season 3 episode that would use the DOF transformation ID. Because in that episode, Tad, feeds milk to different animals, including a cow and kittens. And he even pets some ducks. There's also some other animals like pigs and horses and roosters and sheep and bunny rabbits and doggies and kittens, chickens and stuff. So that's why Tad's Silly Number Farm would use the dot transformation ID, because there are many different animals in that episode. And then another Season 4 free episode that I came up with is called I Know My ABCs, which would use the dash transformation ID, because there are many different letters of the alphabet in that episode, and Leap picks an apple off of a tree, and he plays ball. And then Tad rides the car. Not to mention there's a fair with Lily riding on an elephant. And they imagine and pretend to be firefighters in one part of the book. And in another Season 3 episode that I came up with that is based off of the A My First Sleep. Well, because in one page of the book, Leap, Lily, and Tad pretend to be firefighters, and just like Dash imagines being caveman, scuba diver, and robot in the ID. But I came up with another Season 3 episode that would also use Dash transformation, and that is called Tad's Silly Writing Fair. I know that uses Dash transformation because in one part of the episode, they go swimming down in the water slide. I'd say probably stick with the instrument that Robbie played with to begin with, like even though Tad's Silly Writing Fair would be released as a book in 2003, it would be a Season 3 episode, which would air in late 2001, well, I'd say the horn. even though there's one scene where Leap, Lily, and Tad fish for toys, the Dash Transformation ID would be used because it's a Season 3 episode, and the Fishbowl and Snow Globe IDs wouldn't be used till Season 4. Why? Because Robbie played the horn in reality. But I thought of this. Oh, we're just imagining what fan-made PBS Kids Leapfrog series. Now, that was Season 3. Now I thought of some Season 4 episodes. I thought of one Season 4 episode that would be called Leap's Fishing Trip. Leap tries to learn how to catch a fish, but it doesn't go successfully. But Leap's parents try to encourage him to try it again and try to see if Leap could easily catch a fish. And you know what PBS Kids ID I choose for that episode, since it's from Season 4 and from 2002? Leap's Fishing Trip would be from Season 4. And you know what ID would be used? The Fishbowl one. Because Dash looks at a fishbowl, imagines himself as an orange goldfish, and then gets eaten by... and then gets caught and eaten by Dot. The regular one with the URL cutting in and out, just like on Cyber Chase and Word World. We are currently at Season 4. There are 2 more seasons left after this. And by the way, I have also made an arrangement of the adventures of Leap and made on well, like I said before, Season 1 and Season 2, the first 2 seasons of The Adventures of Leap and Friends would, of course, have Zachary Schumann do the voice of Leap. He's been voicing Leap ever since the book Leap in the Learning. And the last time he voiced Leap was in Leap's Big Day, of course. And then for Season 3, Candy Milo would voice Leap. And Season 5, Candy Milo would also voice Leap as well. While in Season 4, Pamela Adlin would voice Leap. And alright. Oh my goodness. Why does this always have to happen? Bot after bot after bot. Doesn't it kind of get old when bots constantly keep coming to the streams? Alright. Now, for the first 2 seasons, Leap would be voiced by Zachary Schumann in the first 2 seasons, then Candy Milo in Season 3 and Season 5, Pamela Adlon in Season 4, and Cindy Robinson in Season 6. That's who would voice Leap in all 6 seasons. And then for the voice of Lily, Kelsey Lally would voice her in the first 2 seasons, then Mary Danielle, who would voice Tracy and Snuffy and JG the Jet Plane for the last 4 seasons, from seasons 3 through 6. And then Tad would be done by Blake Margraf in the first 2 seasons, Nicole Rapp in seasons 3 and 4, and Debbie Derryberry in seasons 5 through 6. And as for the actor who I would choose to voice Dan the dog, who also appeared in books like Leap's Big Day and the 1999 Fun and Learn Phonics Bus, I would have Ty Olsson voice Dan the dog in the first, and in some future seasons like season 3 through 6 as well. By Isabella Marriott in the first 3 seasons. And then Alio in 2003 to 2004, which is season 5, of course, and a bit of season 6 as well. Alright. I am currently reading this dialogue while I'm talking about those. Well, I might read the dialogue a bit later, because right now we're focusing on Leap Fanmade Adventures of Leap and Friends episodes. Sorry about this, folks. I had to close some windows down real quick, but I'm back. Um, '19 from seasons 1 through 3, and then Andrea Libman in seasons 4 through 6. Hold on one second. Um, and unlike some books that had a different actor voice Tim, I would have the series have Steven Crowder voice him from seasons 1 through 3, which is from 1999 to 2002. And then season 4, I would have Tim be voiced by Alex Hood. And then for seasons 5 through 6, I'd have Paul Stewart Brown voice. Or Tim would be voiced by Alex Hood from seasons 4 through 5, and then Paul Stewart Brown in season 6. Now, Leap's fishing trip would be a season 4 episode that would use the fishbowl ID. And I thought of a season 4 episode with the snow globe ID as well, called Leap's Christmas Party, where Leap and the rest of the gang go to the mall to celebrate Christmas for a Christmas party, but Tad becomes mischievous and the parents tell Tad to behave or he won't get any presents. And Tad becomes impatient because he really wants to sit on Santa's lap, but he has to let others come first before Tad. And that episode, Leap's Christmas Party, would actually air on November 29th of 2002, the same day the episode April 9th aired. And Tad becomes impatient and wants to sit on Santa's lap, but Leap, Lily, and the others try to teach Tad to be patient. Kind of like when Wheezy wants to ride the roller coaster dragon in the season 1 episode Roller Coaster Dragon. And Leap's fishing trip would air on September 26th of 2002, which was the same day the Clifford episodes Princess Cleo and Basketball Stories aired on television. And obviously, Leap's fishing trip would have the fishbowl logo. And then I thought of a season 3 episode that would have the Dash transformation ID. That is called Leap's favorite book. Leap checks out a book about dinosaurs and prehistoric creatures in that episode. And that episode would air on September 30th, 2002, which was 4 days after Leap's fishing trip aired. Leap's favorite book would have the dash transformation ID because it is about prehistoric creatures. And stuff like that. Speaking of which, hold on one second. If alright, I'm trying to alright. I was trying to block this. Oh, I have come up with one from September 23rd, 2002 with the 1999 dot ID, and it's called Fiesta in the House, which is based off of... Actually, you know what? That episode, Fiesta in the House, would use the dash transformation ID because there's a robot named Oscar who speaks Spanish. Fiesta in the House. They have like a party. There's this little robot named Oscar who speaks Spanish, and that will use the dash transformation ID. Same goes for Fiesta in the Town, which also has Oscar the robot. Leap invents the robot who speaks Spanish and sings in Spanish. But I came up with an episode from September 9th of 2002 that used dot ID from 1999, and it's called Leap Joins the Band. And another season 4 episode that would use dash transformation is, of course, Leap's favorite book, which Leap checks out a book about dinosaurs. And I thought of a season 4 episode that we used the 1999 dot ID. Or, yeah, Leap Joins the Band was one that I came up with the dot ID for season 4. I thought of one with the dash ID for season 4 called Lily's Math Test, which Lily doesn't know how to add and subtract, so the teacher tries to help him. Mr. Creek, played by John Ritter. And that's why Leap's Lily's math test would use the dash ID, because Lily doesn't know how to add and subtract, and he's trying to think about, and the teacher tries to help Lily understand addition and subtraction. And I thought of one season 4 episode with the dot transformation ID, and that is called Leap's Jungle Adventure. Which would air on October 14th, 2002, which was the same day Elwood City Turns 100 aired. And Lily's math test would air on August 29th of 2002. And that had the dash transformation, well, compared to Leap and Friends episode, which had dot transformation. And I thought of another season 4 episode with the Fishbowl ID, and that is called Tad's Bath Time, and that would actually be the first season 4 episode from September 2nd, 2002, where Tad refuses to take a bath, but his parents try to help him get in there, but then Tad discovers that playing with bubbles in the bath is actually pretty fun. And I thought of another season 4 episode with the Snow Globe ID, and that is called Leap's Skiing Adventure, which would air on January 14th, 2003. Where Leap goes skiing for the first time. There's a ski instructor called Mr. Ribbit, played by actor Roger Bumpus, who does the voice of Squidward in SpongeBob SquarePants. Alright, now we're going into season 5, which I thought of a season 5 episode with the Fishbowl ID, and that is called Salmon for Tad, which would air on September 26th of 2003, where Tad doesn't like salmon because thinks salmon is too yucky. But then Tad takes a bite of salmon, and he finds out that it's not that bad. Oh, did you hear about Tad's bath time, which is the premiere episode of season 4? Jeremy Barton? Yes. And I thought of Tad's bath time would use the fishbowl ID because there are bubbles in the bath. And that would be the first episode of season 4. And another season 4 episode that I came up with the snow globe one is called Leap's Skiing Adventure, released on January 14th, 2003. With the ski instructor being voiced by Roger Bumpus, who does Squidward. Except, he does not have the "oh police" attitude, unlike Squidward, who did. And then, another episode that Taya came up with is Tad's Day at the Farm, which would air on March 12th, 2004. Tad has a very busy day at the farm, and he plays the banjo. Yeah, Farmer for a Day. That's the one. That's the one. Farmer for a Day. On March 12th, 2004. Where Tad has a very busy day at the farm. And, he would feed the chickens. He would milk the cows. And yeah. It's also based off of the Fridge Farm as well, from 2004 as well. And, so let's see, Tad milks the cows, feeds the chickens, watches the pigs roll around in the mud, and he gets to play the banjo. And I would have the episode Tad's Day at the Farm use the dot transformation ID because there are a lot of animals in there. And that would be a season 5 episode that would use the dot transformation ID. And the season 5 episode with the fishbowl ID that I was talking about is called Salmon for Tad, which Tad refuses to try salmon, which salmon is a healthy fish loaded with lots of omega-3 fatty acids. That would be cool. In fact, there would be a Mario Show crossover with the Adventures of Leap and Friends back in 1999 called Mario's Hoppy Day. Oh, I thought of a season 5 episode with the snow globe logo, and that one is called The Blizzard, not to be confused with the Arthur episode from season 4 at the same name. And in that episode, school closes down because of a big blizzard. And that episode would air on December 19th, 2003. In which and Taya. Also, that was season 5. Season 5 would be the last season to use the old Leapfrog logo with the frog and the circle, before season 6 switched over to the one with just the circle and the uppercase letters. Season 5 would premiere from September 1st, 2003 until (2004). And then I thought of a season 5 episode with the dash transformation ID called I'm on season 5. There's one more season left after this. And I thought of a season 5 episode with the dash transformation ID called Leap and the Lost Dinosaur, which is based off of the Leap Pad book of the same name, surprisingly. Now, beginning with season 5, there would be the same animation style as the Leapfrog video series, like the Letter Factory and the Talking Words Factory, unlike seasons 1 through 4, which had the same animation style from the Leap Pad and My First Leap Pad books. So what do you think? Leap and the Lost Dinosaur would use dash transformation. Jeremy Barton. And that episode would air on April 6th. It would air on January 27th of 2004. And that episode would have Professor Quigley in it, just like Alright. Now that was season 5. I have one season 5 episode with the I have one season 5 episode that I came up with the 1999 dot ID. And that is called Tad's Tad Rides a Bike. That's cool. I like that idea a lot, Taya Brown. In the episode Tad Rides a Bike, Tad tries to learn how to ride a bike, and yes, I read about what you said earlier about Farmer Day. It would use the instrumental banjo songs. He was like, "Hi, I'm Tad, listen to my banjo!" And also, in Tad Rides a Bike, Tad tries to learn how to ride a bike, and it will be very similar to the Dragon Tales episode, A Liking to Biking, because Tad says that he won't be happy until he gets to learn how to ride a bike. He even says, "I can't ride a bike, it's too hard, I give up!" Kind of like when Ord said, "This is too hard, I give up, I can't ride a bike!" in the episode of Liking to Biking. And Leap and Tad Rides a Bike Tad Rides a Bike would use the 1999 dot ID, since biking is kind of like running in a way. What would you think of that, Jeremy Barton? And then I thought of a season 5 episode with the 1999 dash ID. And that is called Tad's or Leap's Science Project, which would air on November 18th, 2003. Tad Rides a Bike would air on November 19th, 2003, after Leap's Science Project. Leap tries to make a volcano in class for Leap's Science Project, and it would use the 1999 dash ID because Leap is trying to think about the ingredients to make for the volcano. Would the dot ID perfectly fit for the biking episode, Jeremy Barton? Alright, now moving on to the final season, Season 6, which I thought of a Season 6 episode with the fishbowl ID, and that is called Lily's Pet, which would air on October 13th of 2004. Season 6 would begin from October 11th, 2004 until June 3rd, 2005. And Lily gets a pet goldfish in that episode. So that's why the fishbowl ID is used. I thought of a Season 6 episode with the snow globe ID, and it's called Leap's Christmas Gift, which would air on December 11th, 2004. Actually, no, December 10th, 2004. And Leap gets a really interesting book for Christmas called The Secret Garden. And I thought of a season 6 episode with the dot transformation ID called Tad Goes to the Zoo, in which Tad explores many different animals like elephants, lions, tigers, bears. That episode would use the dot transformation ID and would air on October 11th, 2004, which was the same day season 6 premiered. And I thought of a season 6 episode with the dash transformation ID called Tad's Swimming Lesson, which Tad doesn't know how to swim, but luckily Leap and Lily and the rest of the gang helped him learn how to swim. That's why the dash transformation ID is used. And there is no fish in that episode, so that's why the dash transformation ID is also used. And I thought of a season 6 episode with the 1999 dot ID, and that would be called The Big Race. And so the big race, they would have a biking race to say who is the fastest biker. That episode would use the DAW ID from 1999. And I thought of a season 6 episode with the Dash ID called Use Your Imagination, where Leap imagines many different things happening, but he has to think about what he would like to imagine, and they take turns imagining what they see. And Taya, how would you like all seasons of the show, The Adventures of Leap and Friends? Well, I thought of a season 6 episode with the Fishbowl ID, and that is called Lily's Pet, where Lily gets a pet goldfish. And I thought of a season 6 episode with the Snow Globe one, and that is called Leap's Christmas Gift. And one with the Dash transformation ID that I thought of is called Tad's Swimming Lesson. Dot transformation would be for Tad Goes to the Zoo. Tad's Swimming Lesson would be on October 12th, 2004. The Big Race would be from November 23rd of 2004, and which is the same day Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban was released on DVD and VHS. And Use Your Imagination would, of course, be from June 3rd, 2005, which is the season 6 finale. Now, despite season 5 and season 6 airing in 2003 and 2004, the Snow Globe ID is still the regular version, and the Fishbowl ID is still the regular version for seasons 5 and 6. Even though the prototype ones already existed, the regular ones would just be used in the series. And the series finale. Now, Taya, how would you like all 6 seasons after the credits to end with the signature saying, "Thanks for learning with Leapfrog. Bye-bye." Just like that is also heard on toys like the Fun and Learn Phonics Plus and Tad's Counting Farm, to name but a few. Except the first 2 seasons of the show would have Zachary Schumann say the sign-off. While in seasons 3 and 4, Tad, the voiceover from the Alphabet Pal, would say it this time, along with season 5 and 6 as well. Seasons 1 through 2 would have Leap's voiceover, and then season 3 through 6 would have the voiceover from the Alphabet Pal saying that. Alright, I hope you enjoyed it. But before the stream ends, I want you to know what you think of theme for The Adventures of Leap and Friends. Unlike most PBS Kids shows from the time that aired in the 90s and 2000s that had synthesized music, that had music that composed with synthesizers like the Emu Proteus 2 orchestral that was heard on shows like Teletubbies and Thomas and Friends and Caillou, The Adventures of Leap and Friends would be an exception, as that would actually use the instrument samples from Leapfrog toys, including that theme. Now, I want you to know what you think of this theme there, Jeremy Barton and Taya. This theme that I sent you is the seasons 2 to 3 arrangement of the theme. There would be a couple of different versions of the theme. The season 1 version would have just the tuba and the xylophone, whereas in the seasons 2 to 3 version, it would have the tuba still playing, but it would have multiple instruments playing the melody instead of just the xylophone, and they would take turns playing the melody. It would start off with the flute playing the melody in the seasons 2 to 3 version, then the guitar, and then the bass. Well, it's an E major, which is the same key as the Dragon Tales theme. Well, I sent you a link to the theme song. In fact, I might as well play it for you. No, it's just instrumental for the show, but there have been lyrics to that theme in a Leapfrog CD, and it was called the Leapfrog Family Theme. Did you happen to hear the song that I was playing? I just played that video. I had autism, I believe, back in 2005. What instruments did you hear? That was the seasons 2 to 3 version of the theme. Well, for season 1, it's just the tuba and the xylophone playing. Whereas in season 2, it's the tuba playing the bass line, and then the flute, the guitar, the bass, and the xylophone taking turns playing parts of the melody. Yes, I still do. And then for season 3, it is the same arrangement as season 2. Season 4 would have the guitar being replaced by the banjo, but other than that, it's still the same. Same goes for seasons 5 and 6. And also for the seasons 4 through 6 version of the intro, the xylophone would be replaced by the fridge phonics instrument. But other than that, it's the same. So, season 1, it's just tuba and the xylophone playing all of the melody. And then seasons 2 and 3 would have the tuba and then the flute, guitar, bass, and xylophone taking turns playing the melody. And then seasons 4 through 6 would have tuba, flute, banjo, bass, and fridge phonics instrument playing certain parts of the songs. What instruments did you hear in that version that I sent you? That's from seasons 2 to 3. That's the one that I sent. Well, it all depends. We might be getting a pet later today, so it all could change, but I could try. An announcement, folks. Requests on Saturdays usually come in the evening because I have to hang out with my family before then, but I probably have time to do them in the evening. That is, if I'm not at all tired. I've been doing voice impressions for like 3 years since I first started doing SML Fanmade. I'm hoping to get back to that eventually, but it's been a while since I've last done that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the stream. I will see you soon. See you later.